A'udhu billah minash shaitan rajim. We seek refuge in God from Satan the rejected. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. Salamun alaikum. Peace be upon you. God willing, today we want to start another session from the series of the sessions of studying the appendices of Quran, the Final Testament, translated by Dr. Rashad Khalifa, the Messenger of the Covenant. And today we want to start from page 384 with the section named Other Mathematical Properties of the Initial Surahs. Now let's get to it. 14 Arabic letters, half the Arabic alphabet, participate in the formation of 14 different sets of Quranic initials. By adding the geometrical value of each one of these letters plus the number of surahs which are prefixed with Quranic initials, which are in 29 surahs, we obtain a total of 722, or 19 times 19 times 2. So what does this tell us? Just let's look at this table, and God willing, we will understand what's going on. There are 29 surahs in the Quran which are initialed with some Arabic letters, right? For example, Surah 2, it is prefixed with Alif Lam Mim, right? ALM. Or Surah 68 is prefixed with Noon or N, right? There is something in Arabic language and other languages in the world as well called the geometrical value, or in Arabic it is called the abjad value. If we look at this table, we have just included the basically the letters individually, the letters which have been used in forming the Quranic initials in those 29 surahs. And if you put the values of them in front of them, right, the abjad value of these letters, so Aleph equals 1, Lam equals 30, Mim 40, Sad 90, Ra or R 200, and so on and so forth, right? Now, the total of these values is 693. And then if you add the 29 surahs, which are initialed by these 14 letters, you get to 722, which is 19 times 19 times 2. So this is another number 19 showing up again, right? Now, there is another part here. Additionally, if we add the total geometrical value of all 14 initials plus the number of the first surah where the initial occurs, we get a grand total of 988, or 19 times 52. Table 8 presents this data. What does it mean? It means that if you look at this section, you will see that where's the first place in the Quran that this letter has occurred. For example, Aleph Lam Mim, the first place that it has happened in is in Surah 2, right? Surah Al-Baqarah. Sad, the first place that it has happened is Surah 7, Surah Al-A'raf, right? Now, Ra, Surah 10, Kaf, and you see Kaf, Ha, Ya, Ain. The first place that it has happened is Surah 19, then Ta, Surah 20, Sin, Surah 26, Ha, Surah 40, Qaf, Surah 42, and Noon, the only place in the Quran that it has happened is Surah 68. Now the total of these surahs becomes 295. And if you add 693, which was the value, the abjad value or the geometrical value of these letters, plus the first surah where they have occurred, you would get to a number which is also a multiple of 19, 988, or 19 times 52. Now I suggest to you that you do these calculations yourself, but I want to suggest a very easy way to do that. You could do it in different ways. You could create like an Excel sheet. That's one way to look at it. Another way, probably an easier way these days, is to use ChatGPT. Now, if you just drag and drop all of this part, easily, if you drag and drop all of this part and copy and paste it and put it in ChatGPT, something like this is going to show up for you. And interestingly enough, it understands what you're talking about, okay? At least 4.0, which is the newest version of ChatGPT, understand what it is, and it says that it looks like you have provided a list of Arabic letters along with 2 sets of numerical values associated with each letter. This could be related to the practice of assigning numerical values to letters as seen in systems like abjad numerals in Arabic. Let's clarify these. Okay, so I didn't understand what is the second part. because I didn't copy the whole section, but if I copy the whole section, probably it will understand. Even if it doesn't matter. We want to get to the calculations. Here, a very nice shape of a table that it gives you. See, it gives letter, right? Name, it understood the Arabic version of it, right? And the abjad value, it has put the abjad value in front of them with the geometrical value. And then the second value, didn't understand what is the second value, but we know that it is the first surah where they have appeared. And I don't expect ChatGPT to understand that. However, it doesn't matter. We want to see what is the total of these two columns, right? So if you look at it, you will see that the total of the abjad values is 693. And if you look at this part, you see that it is 693. You just ask it questions, it will answer you, right? The total of the second value, the second column provided is 295, and we have 295, and 693 plus 295 becomes 988, 19 times 52. And also, as we talk, 693, which is the addition of this column, the first column, the value, the abjad value of the letters, plus the 29 surahs which are initial in the Quran, it becomes 722, also 19 times 19 times 2. So this can't be coincidental. This mathematical coding and this relationship between the letters and the surahs where they have appeared can't be coincidental. And you see that how like a giant Rubik's Cube, things are connected to one another, still, we haven't talked about the text at all. We're just talking about the relationship between the letters, where they are located, the number assigned to them, and their relationship compared to one another. So you see that it's a very, very intricate and complicated system. At the same time, it's very easy to understand, but it's impossible to be imitated. If we add the number of occurrences of each of the 14 letters listed in table 8 as an initial, plus the numbers of the surahs where it occurs as an initial, right? The grand total comes to 2033, or 19 times 107. See table 9. So this is related to the next table, which is here. So we have 4 columns here. The first column is the letters. Now, we have the number of occurrences. What does it mean? For example, we have Aleph, but Aleph is not only, it doesn't only occur in Surah number 2. It occurs in Surah number 3, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 29, 30, 31, and 32. And you can check the authenticity of this information by any Quran. Just pick up any Quran, look at those surahs and see whether they have appeared in these surahs or not, right? That's very easy to check. Now, the total of all this part, this row, becomes 222. The same goes with the rest of the letters. For example, Lam, 13 times these surahs. Mim, 17 times these surahs. Sad, 3 times these surahs. And Ra, for example, 6 times these surahs, and the total becomes 81. And for example, Noon, 2 times in Surah Qalam, Surah 68, and 2 plus 68 becomes 70. Now, the total of this part becomes 79. The total of this column becomes 1,954. And the total of all of it together becomes 2,033, and it's 19 times 107. Again, I just copied and pasted all of this in ChatGPT, and this is what it showed me. I mean, this is just phenomenal how ChatGPT works. And it just calculated everything. It broke it down, did all the calculations for me, and then we came to the ending part of it. And it said that summing all the totals, this matches the provided total. The calculations confirm the provided total are correct. Alhamdulillah, praise be to God, Lord of the universe. We can use that. So again, you see how, interestingly, these are connected to one another. And again, it becomes a multiple of 19. 19 times 107. Let's move to table 10. This one was a little bit tricky. It took me a little bit of time, but still ChatGPT also helped me to get through this. Now, table 10 presents the total frequency of Quranic initials plus the total geometrical value of these letters in the whole surah. The grand total for all initial surahs is 1,089,479. This number in excess of 1 million is a multiple of 19, and it's 19 times 57,341. The slightest alteration or distortion destroys the system. And there's a note here. Note the total geometrical value of the Quranic initials in a given surah equals the geometrical value of each initial multiplied by the frequency of occurrence of that initial in the surah. So what does it mean? Now, table 10, total geometrical values of all Quranic initials in their surahs. Now, we have each and every individual surah which is initial in the Quran listed here. So starting with Surah 2, which is the first initial surah, it starts with Alif Lam Mim, ALM. Surah 3, ALM. Surah 7, ALMS, right, which is Sad, Alif Lam Mim Sad, right? And it goes down. So like, for example, Surah 19, Kaf Ha Ya Ain Sad. And then, for example, Surah 42, Ha Mim Ain Sin Qaf. Surah 50, Q, which is Qaf. Surah 60, N, which is Noon, basically, right? And we have the frequency of initials in front of them. Now, what does this mean? For example, Surah 2, ALM, if you go to the top tables, you will see all the counts that we did in the previous sessions, and you can check them again. For example, Surah 2, in table 4, it shows us that the count of A is 4,502, the count of L is 3,202, and the count of M or Mim is 2,195. And the total is 9,899, the count of all three together, right? However, the geometrical value of each of these is different. For example, A is 1, Lam, which is L, is 30, and then Mim is 40. So you have 1, 30, and 40, and those counts which have been mentioned here. So now let's do it in ChatGPT. I said based on the abjad value of, or you could say geometrical value of A as 1, and L as 30, M as 40, and the individual counts of 4,502. So if you look at it, 4,502, L 3,202, L 3,202, and M 2,195, M 2,195. I didn't say anything else. It just like it started calculating stuff. Very easy. You just multiplied the abjad value by the counts, and it gives you the total as a whole. And if you take a look at it, you see that it says that the total is 188,362. And we see here, voila, we have the number here, 188,362. ChatGPT probably makes it easier for you, but don't trust it completely because sometimes the counts are wrong, as I will show you, God willing. I just moved to the last surah, the last initial surah, Surah 68, right? If you look at it here, you will see that 133 counts of N, right? And then if you go here, you see that Noon is 50, right? And then 133 multiplied by 50, it becomes 6,650. 6,650. 6,650. So that's it. Now, moving to chapter 3, the abjad value for chapter 3, right? I did the calculation here, and then it gave me the number 109,241. 109,241, the same exact number. Surah 29, ALM. Here, I have the counts here, A, L, and M, and the values, the abjad value or the geometrical value. Do the counting, 31, 154. 31, 154. Moving to the next one, 25,014. 25,014. Surah 31, let's take a look at the counts. 16,177. 16,177. Next surah, Surah 32, 11,227. 11,227. So this is for the ALM surahs, right? Then I move to ALR surahs, okay? I had ALR, so A is 1, L is 30, and R is 200. And the counts of A, L, and R in this surah, in Surah 10. This is the part that, interestingly enough, ChatGPT did it wrong. So if you look at it, you see that, for example, it had done the calculation, but it had given me a wrong addition. It's very easy. For example, you just copy and paste it, and you put it into the Google easily. You will see that you come up with this number. It says 80,109, right? 80,109. And if you look at this one, you see that it's 80,109. ChatGPT messed it up and didn't do a good job of calculating. And then I said that, do the total again, it's wrong. And it said that, yes, my mistake, and it did it the right way, 80109. And we got to the correct one, 80109. So I'm saying that don't trust ChatGPT 100%. Do your own calculations as well with different devices, and know that for a fact that these numbers are correct. Surah 11, right? Again, ALR, AL and R, and the abjad value here, the geometrical value there, right? And then it says 90, 190. 90, 190. You see that here. Next surah, 77, 066. 77, 066. Next surah, surah 14, 46, 145. 46, 145. Next surah, 29, 777. And it gave me again a wrong number, right? Because that's not the number here. And this is the part that I just like copied and pasted into the internet to see the number for myself. And it was 29,383. 29,383, this number, 29,383. It's a good tool, but not absolutely accurate. Sometimes it makes mistakes. And then I moved on to, for example, Surah 7, Aleph Lam Mim Sad. So here it was, again, I needed to add the numbers here. I said A1, L30, M40, S90. I needed to define S because it doesn't understand the difference between Sin or Sad, right? I had to say that this is Sad and it's 90. And the individual counts of these are the numbers for Aleph, Lam, Mim, and Sad in Surah 7. And if we do the calculations, we will see that 103, 719. 103, 719. So that's the same exact number here. So we have it for Surah 7. And then I moved on to Surah 13, ALMR. If we go to this one, ALMR, doing the same process, and it became 52,805, 52,805, this color, the purple one. And then I moved on to the next surah, which is Kaf Ha Ya Ain Sad, Surah 19, and did the calculations, Kaf Ha Ya Ain Sad, and then did the calculation, and it became this number, and I said it's wrong, do it again, and I said that it came up with still the wrong number. And sometimes when it doesn't do it, simply just copy and paste it in internet, and you will see that any calculator would give you the right number. 17,575. 17,575. This is the accuracy of this document that we have at hand. Everything is already calculated and we have it in front of us, but we're just doing it to, strengthen the faith, that we have. That's what we are doing here. Then I moved to Surah 20, Taha. If we go here, I said Ta and Ha, and then it did the calculation, 1507, 1507, you have it here. Then I moved to Surah 26, Tasin Mim, right? And the total became 25,097. I had to put the calculation on the net. So just simply copy and paste it here, 25,297, 25,297, easy. Next one, 27, Tasin, right? And then the total is 5,883, 5,883. Sometimes it does it right, sometimes it does it wrong. So the point is that if you see that the number that you get on ChatGPT is different from the number that is here, just do it again. If you did it the wrong way, put it in a calculator. But in general, it's a very good tool that you can use for doing such tasks. Tasin Mim, the abjad values, Ta 9, Sin 60, and Mim 40. And these are the counts of Ta, Sin, and Mim in this surah. 24,691, 24,691. These surahs we already talked about, 29, 30, 31, and 32. These are Aleph Lam Mim initial surahs. Then moving on to Surah Yasin, Surah 36, Ya 10, Sin 60. I did the calculation, 5,250, 5,250. Then there is Surah Sad, is easy, you just multiply the number of Sad in this surah, which is 29, by the geometrical value of Sad, which is 90, and it's 2610. And then I moved on to Hamim initial surahs. Here I just copied all of it in ChatGPT and gave it the abjad value for Ha and Mim, and I wanted to see what it comes up with, and the abjad values for these surahs. This one was again wrong, so I don't know what's up with the calculations. Sometimes it gets it the wrong way. Obviously 512 plus 15,200 becomes 15,712, right? But it says 15,612, so it's very easy. I mean, you can just do it in your mind. 15,712, 15,712, and then next one, 11,424, 11,424. The count is correct. So Surah 43, Surah 43, 13, 312, 13, 312. Surah 44, Surah 44 here, 6,128, 6,128. Surah 45, 8,248, 8,248. Surah 46, 9,288, and 9,288. And I moved on to the previous surah, which was here, Hamim Ain Sin Qaf, and I gave all of them, Hamim Ain Sin and Qaf, and all the counts. And then it came up with 28,824, 28,000, it says 224. And again, you see that this one it's doing it in a wrong way. So just simply, if you copy and paste it on the net, easy. It says 28,224. You see that up to this point, every count that we had was correct. Surah Qaf is Surah 50, and there is 57 Qaf in it. And the value of Qaf is 100. It's very easy. 57 multiplied by 100 becomes 5,700, and we have 5,700, and already I have talked about Noon. And then I copied and pasted all of this in ChatGPT to see whether these counts are correct and the total that we have here is correct. And if you look at it, frequency of initials that we just talked about becomes 41,388, and the total geometrical value in surahs becomes 1,048,091, and these two numbers plus each other becomes 1,089,479, which is 19 times 57,341. And it's a very big number, and it's still a multiple of 19, right? And I just copied and pasted the whole table in ChatGPT, and I asked it to do the calculations, and it did the calculations. And by the end of it, it said that the same number appeared: 1,089,479, 1,089,479, which is a multiple of 19. It's 19 times 57,341, 19 times 57,341. So as you can see, this is a very exact and accurate mathematical system, which is binding all the initial surahs to one another, and how these letters are mathematically connected to one another. SubhanAllah, we're talking about a book which is more than 1400 years old. And after all these years, all these things which have been brought in this Quran are absolutely intact and are absolutely wonderfully preserved by this awesome mathematical miracle in the Quran. God willing, in the next session, we are going to continue with the rest of Appendix 1. We are going through some more awesome tables, and God willing, I will explain them to you as well. And thank you so much for listening to me. Until next session and next episode, may God be with you. Salamun alaikum. Peace be upon you.